So let me see. Test one, two, one, two, one, two. I know the microphone's working. Let me see if I can get the rest of it going. I'm going to end this stream and come right back with a new setting. Okay, now it's working. All right, great. Appreciate your help on that, Roll Gator. So if there's anything that you'd like to know, also I announced the winners of the last two giveaways that I did. So please check it out. Offhand, honestly, I apologize for not writing it down, but I did post it under each video in the comment field of who won. And if the winners could get back to me, I put my email address there and I could get their shipping information and contact information. I could ship the items out to you. So I would greatly appreciate that. And anyway, congratulations on winning, those two items. So is anybody played in any tournaments this week or played in any league play this week? Just go ahead and throw something up there in the message window. I'd like to see who's on, what league and actually what organization they belong to. And also, I'm having a new cue designed, and just out of curiosity, I notice a lot of more people I see playing with no grip on their cues, just it's just the natural wood itself. And I think out of curiosity, I was wondering. So if anybody is interested, just post whether or not what type of cue you use, whether it has a leather wrap, Irish linen wrap, or no wrap. And like I said, it's just a personal thing. It's obviously a personal preference, but I'm just curious to see who uses what. So all right, we got a few more people here. So if anybody like to ask any questions, please go ahead. I'm just trying to get as many people gathered here together at one time. So I greatly appreciate you guys, and ladies, for coming back each week. So again, if you could let me know how the video looks and how the audio sounds right now. I think I had a problem on the first probably 30 seconds of this video. So yeah, go ahead and just put a comment up there. I hope you can hear me crystal clear and that the video is coming through nice and bright. So this week we're not doing any giveaway. I apologize, but we will be doing more giveaways coming up soon. So please stay tuned and remember every Monday night, 8 o'clock. And I'll keep it going for as long as possible, as long as everybody's contributing. Any questions or answers. We'll run it for probably 15 minutes to 30 minutes again, as long as we have people joining us and the live feedback. So again, remember this is just a live broadcast, so podcast if you want to call it that. So there is no specific lesson. What I would like to know is your shooting routines, um, how you approach the table. Let's say it's your turn, you break, you sink a couple of balls. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate that comment. So let's say you approach the table. All right, it's your turn. You break. You sink a couple of balls. Now here we are. We're looking, standing back, looking at the table. What is in your mind at that given moment? That's what we call, as part of our shooting routine. It's the mantra. It's what's in your mind before you get down on that shot. Just a few things of advice. Everybody has their personal preference on how they approach a shot. The further you are away from the table, the more overall the better overall view you will have of the table. So once you get up close, if you're just looking at the most obvious shot and you're that close to it, your peripheral vision is going to be diminished tremendously. So what you need to do is take a step or two back, or three if you need to. Again, take a couple of steps back, look at the broad view, take that overall view of the entire table and decide what your next shot's going to be. What is the smart shot? Try to stay in one section of the table at a time. Don't go for one corner pocket, then run the cue ball down to the other end of the table because they're both easy shots. You know, it's very tempting to do, I mean, but the smart choice is keep that cue ball, make it travel the least amount as possible on each shot. I mean, there's some instances where you're obviously going to need to roll the cue ball from one end of the table to the other or all the way up and down. I mean, it happens. But again, look at, you know, look at your shots at one end of the table. You'll see a group. Maybe there's two, three, four, or five of your balls in that one section of the table. Figure out what the pattern or the best pattern for you is going to be to make all those shots. So even though that, second or third shot might be harder than sending the cue ball all the way down to the other end of the table because you got a hanger sitting on a corner pocket, or a side pocket. Again, focus in zones, play in zones. It's much easier and it's much smarter, and you'll see your game improve tremendously. Before you know it, you'll be running, you know, full racks. I mean, it will happen. So again, focus on that. Approach the table, see what the best shot's going to be for you, your opening shot, so to speak. And it will just, you play off of each shot. Try to look three or four shots ahead. So again, you got four balls in one area. It's pretty easy to take a look at it. Again, take a step back, look at it and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to hit the cue ball. I'm going to sink the whatever, let's say five ball corner pocket. I'm going to hit the cue ball with high left, and I'm going to follow off the rail and come around for the four ball. So again, have that all in your head. You need to figure that all out before you get down on the shot. The worst thing to do is to get down on the shot and then start making your decision of, all right, this is what I'm going to do, or this is what I should do, or this is how I should aim at the shot, or this is the speed I should hit the shot. Those are the worst things to do when you're down on the table. So again, have that all decided. Okay, this is the shot I'm going to take. This is how I'm going to hit the cue ball. This is the speed I feel I need to hit it at, and get down, come straight down with your cue, straight down into your shot. So don't have your cue, sitting this way like this as you approach the table. Take the cue and have it facing the table. Come down onto the shot. Yeah, that's Roll Gator just left a comment. Spinning the ball is scary sometimes. I'm assuming you mean English on the ball. And yes, the further your cue ball is away from the object ball, the the more drastic the reaction is going to be when you put English. Remember, if you put right English on the cue ball, your object ball's gonna go towards the left. So you need to compensate on how you aim that shot. So the best way, to practice those is just start off with the cue ball and your object ball within like 6 inches from each other. And obviously put your object ball within an inch or two from the pocket. Watch the reaction of the object ball if you make contact with it. So again, and speed has a huge factor of how the cue ball is going to react. So a soft shot, when you use English, you're not going to have a lot of reaction. It's not going to transfer all that spin onto the object ball. So the harder you hit your cue ball with English, when you're using English, I should say, the more drastic the reaction will be on the object ball. So yes, you could totally lose control of the object ball when you use extreme English, and especially when you're hitting it with a little bit of power. So be careful with that. It's something you have to build up to. So again, yeah, if you definitely, like I said, approach the table with the cue stick facing your shot, come down into your shot, you know, have everything in your head of what you're going to do. You'll see be a tremendous difference of your concentration on that shot. And in no time, you'll be making shots that you weren't normally making, or, you're going to stop second guessing yourself. And you see a lot of people do that. They'll get down on the ball, and then all of a sudden they'll pick their head up, they'll look to the left, look to the right, because now they're looking at the table when they're already down on their shot. It's the worst thing to do. If you find yourself doing that, stand right back up. You know, just again, stand right back up, take a step back, take a deep breath, refocus, step into the shot. So it's the best thing you could do. On Daniel wants to know what's your opinion on low deflection shafts with English. I'll be honest with you, I use a G Core series, and well, I should say I have used it for quite a while. Probably a couple of years. It's a McDermott G Core. Has graphite insert in the shaft, and it's supposed to be somewhat of a low deflection shaft. And when I'm using English, I'm very comfortable with that particular cue, and I had a custom cue made. I know some of you guys already know, and I've seen it. It's made by cue maker here locally in Orlando, Florida, WPQs. If you haven't yet, please check them out. Amazing cues. I mean, you get a custom cue for just under $300. That's his starting price. So again, I've been totally, totally happy with my cue. But anyway, his shafts are not low deflection, and I have a super soft tip, a kamikaze super soft tip. Sorry for that. And I have no problem with the deflection on the shaft, when I'm using English. So it's a preference thing. I mean, just think about it, low deflection shafts are something within, let's say, the last, 7 to 10 years. They become very popular. Eh, it will help your game. Um, if you're talking semi-pros to pros, yeah, low deflection shaft, come into play. But for the average player or average league player, I mean, we've been using cues, Balabushka cues and Adams cues, and Palmer cues that were been around for who knows long, 75 plus years, you know, and they're so popular and have been so popular, and they never had that technology. So, yeah, I mean, I don't feel that it's gonna totally improve your game or take away from your game. It would give you a slight edge on when you're using, heavy English. But again, depends on how hard you're hitting your shots. You're playing on a really fast table. I, I wouldn't be so concerned about a low deflection shaft. You're playing with Simonis cloth, which is super fast and under the right conditions. Let's say a diamond table with, you got tight pockets and you got a super soft, super fast cloth. You're not going to be hitting the balls hard. So any shaft that you use, you're going to get the same result. At least that's my opinion on it. Like I said, the low deflection, I think, come into play greater when you're hitting the ball harder. But that's again when you're playing, on excellent tables with excellent equipment, you're not slamming the ball. So in that regards, again. Um, are they a stiffer shaft? Yeah, I think the low deflection shafts are slightly stiffer. I mean, I videotaped mine, a few times just to see the difference between, the different shafts that I have on some of my cues. And it definitely is less deflection. So um, I don't feel that stiffness the way that they're designed. It's not like on the butt of the cue, you know, or up at the rack that you're going to feel any type of vibration or impact. So it's a smooth cue, and the low deflection shafts, you're not going to find them on a 50 or $100 cue. You're going to find them on higher end cues. When you get into three, four, $500 cues. So it's a quality cue. You can't go wrong if you go ahead and purchase one. But again, I mean, if you're really happy with the cue that you're currently using, no, I wouldn't run out and buy a low deflection shaft. But if the one that you're in love with that you want to get happens to have that or has it as an option, yeah, if you want to spend extra money, for sure. So I hope I answered that as best as possible, Daniel. Um, so yeah, I mean, definitely, again, back to approaching the table, have a warm up routine. Anytime, Daniel. I'm glad I could help you out with that. So I'll be honest with you, an excellent queue as well for the price for under $200. I mean, I have a link on my website that will take you to the Amazon seller selling Q-Tech with a 360 shaft. That's the shaft that Shane Van Boeing uses. I mean, low deflection. I play with it. I did a review on the Q-Tech Q, and you could pick them up for $165, and it's an amazing cue for that price. So, it's nothing fancy. It's a simple design, but it does have, the excellent shaft, and it's the same exact one that Shane Van Boeing uses. And I mean, obviously, everybody knows him. He's top pro in the world, and I mean, you could play with the same, level of equipment as he's playing, at least shaft wise, for under $200. So if you're interested, check it out. And like I said, you won't be disappointed. So again, the cues come down to personal preference, but um, everybody has. What do you think on aiming system? There's so many different aiming systems out there, Rolgata. It's really really difficult to again. Like I was just teaching a student on Sunday, and I, I was giving him all the advice that I could possibly give him. But the biggest thing I told him was, if it doesn't work for you, then don't do it. If there's some people that are so set in their ways that you cannot break them of certain things, even though they know it's wrong and it's been pointed out to them. Um, Again, and excuse me, and aiming systems are similar in that regards. Certain people just can't grasp the concept of certain aiming systems. So you got to find the one that works for you. And they do work. I mean, all the aiming systems out there, and different techniques, I think they're all great advice, but they're not, each one is not for everybody. So yeah, I would definitely, the ghost ball system is probably one of the best. So if you want to check that out, it's really simple. It's just envisioning. I mean, they have a couple of devices out there too that will replicate exact contact point, uh, where the ghost ball is. I mean, you could do research online and find out all about ghost balls, the ghost ball aiming system. But for just general shots, yeah, ghost ball aiming system. Then you have, there's bank rail systems, there's the diamond system, systems for kick shots, there's a mirror system for bank shots. There's just so many different systems out there. And like I said, I haven't tried them all, and I try to stay on top of all of it. But I've tried the mirror system, for bank shots. It's amazing. It does work. You know, bank shots, look at it this way: the angle in is going to be your angle out, and that's if no English is applied to the cue ball. And remember, if you're taking a bank shot and the harder you hit it, the shorter the angle is going to be. The softer you hit it, the longer the angle, I should say, the wider the angle is going to be. So you hear, the expression, they went short on the pocket or long on the pocket. And a lot of it could just be, the aim was right. It was just the speed. So when bank shots are one of my favorite shots. It's not the smartest shot, but it is one of my favorite shots. Ever since I was a kid, I've just always been very good at them. And, you know, I catch myself too. Sometimes I should be cutting that ball, and no, I'll go ahead and take the bank shot. So, you play your percentages. So um, if there's any aiming systems out there that you come across and you'd like to know more about, just send me an email or leave a comment. You can get me at eddie@learnbilliards.com, or like I said, leave comments below. It helps me out tremendously when everybody leaves comments. So again, you know anything you'd like to know, or any upcoming videos you'd like to discuss, again, I'd greatly appreciate it. And all your feedback, that's the way I take it. All the comments that you guys leave, I look at it as feedback, and what I could do to make the channel better and to help everybody out even more. And again, Tony, how do you determine your dominant eye? Once you do, what's the correct alignment? Honestly, this is the old-fashioned system where you just put one hand over your eye, you know, and there's actually a great video on, just do a Google search for test dominant eye, and it should pull up within the top three. And it's just so simple. I mean, I had show me that video years and years ago, and like I said, it's still up there. Um, it's again, it's very easy to do, very easy to do. And believe it or not, I know a lot of people say, "Oh, well, I'm righty, so my right eye is the dominant eye." That's not true. Believe it or not, most of the time it's the opposite. I think it's a slightly higher percentage. Like if you're righty, usually your dominant eye is your left one. I believe it's like 60%, something like that. Slightly different. I don't have 100% great vision in my left eye. I got hit in the eye a few years back. It caused permanent damage to my eye. So my vision's not the same, but yet, I've learned to compensate for it. And my brain obviously has, overcome the loss of vision in that eye. So it took a while. I mean, I didn't play pool for like 6 months to a year. And I just started, focusing on it, and sure enough, you just figure it out. I mean, when you're determined, it's amazing what you could do. So, but back to the dominant eye thing, it's just um, the correct alignment in themselves. And honestly, when I can do that, half the times they miss a shot, if not more. If not more frequently, they're missing the shot. So I would totally stay away from that. I've seen some people do it, but again, I would totally stay away from that. You got to find where one of the best things to do. Take a strike ball, put it right on a spot at the table. Put the stripe vertical where it's facing up and down. Align it as straight as possible, um, and then put a piece of chalk at the other end of the table on the center diamond. Try to get that strike ball to hit that spot where the chalk is, and look at the rotation of the strike ball, and you'll be able to see. And if you use any one of the dark color balls, the dark stripes, and obviously if you're using a lighter chalk, you'll see the chalk marks on there, and you'll see whether you're hitting to the left, hitting to the right. The reaction of the strike ball is going to shift to the left, shift to the right, so forth, and you'll see the pattern within that stripe itself. It's a real easy way to get your stroke back on and get your aim back on. A lot of times, we lose track, and we could play great tonight, and then tomorrow night we just can't make a ball. I mean, it happens. And it's basically, most of the time, it's the fundamentals. It's going back to the beginning to say, you know what, my aim's off, or my stroke's off. What am I doing wrong? Take that strike ball, put it on the table, and just hit that. Don't worry about anything else. Just hit that half a dozen times, and it will recorrect, your stroke immediately. You get instant feedback of exactly what you're doing wrong, and then all of a sudden you realize, okay, well, this is what I'm doing wrong. You know, Let me make my adjustment and get back in the game. So I hope that helps. Trying to be as detailed as possible. So again, guys, if there's anything you'd like to for me to discuss next week for another live feed, please go ahead and leave comments. Go ahead in the chat window if there's anything that you want to discuss. We're going to go for a few more minutes here, and trying to keep it as long as people are interested, meaning this particular podcast. So we're going to work on doing a giveaway next week. Don't hold me to it 100%, but I'm trying to work out a deal with a couple of vendors to get some items. If not, I'll be digging in my pocket real soon, and I'll be purchasing some items to do reviews on, and giveaways as well. So I'm just trying to come up with some really good videos for you. And again, I use your feedback, your comments to guide me in what you guys want to see. So I mean, that's bottom line. I'm here to help you guys. I mean, like I said, got ads running on my site. Yeah, I make pennies, on it, but I don't do it for the money. It's I do it because I love the game, and I truly enjoy, speaking with each and every one of you. And when I see, the comments that you all leave, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I'm helping, and that's what I'm here to do. And I'm trying to do the best that I can. So I greatly appreciate everybody's feedback and participation. So, um, Tony, thank you for joining. Rogator, Daniel, Ed Mena, Woody Wood. Thank you everybody for joining me. I hope to see you guys next week. So again, 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. Eastern time, a week from today. So we're gonna do this every Monday, 8 p.m. As long as you guys keep coming back, I'll keep doing it. So again, thanks for joining me. Check out my website, learnbilliards.com. And I want to give a big shout out to a gentleman that signed up on Patreon, the Harry channel. So just again, I want to give a shout out to the Harry channel for being my first Patreon. Um, Truly appreciate it, and it helps the channel out. So thanks again. I appreciate that, the Harry channel. So we've had a couple more people join us here. So if there's anything that you guys would like to discuss before we cut out of here, please put it up in the chat window. If not, we're going to be ending the stream in about a minute and a half. It's amazing how fast it's already 28 minutes and 30 seconds into this podcast. So again, I'm just trying to, this podcast is for you guys. So whatever we could discuss and whatever you want to discuss or you want to ask or you want to learn about, um, that's what I'm here for. So again, throw it up in the chat window. Or if not, at the end of the video, you can leave it in the comment section, that will be below. So it takes a few minutes after the video is over for YouTube to do their update. It gets processed, and then you could actually leave comments in the comment field. But for now, while we're live, if you go ahead and put it in the chat window, so obviously I can see it now, and I can start working on coming up with some new videos for you guys. So again, hope to see you guys soon, a week from today, and we'll be same time, 8 o'clock, and I'll come up with another subject to discuss, and I'll base that off the comments that you guys leave. So, um, and if anybody plays with a graphite shaft, I mean a total graphite, I've seen some out there. I would greatly appreciate it if you leave a comment below and let me know what you think of it. I haven't had the opportunity to play with one yet. And also, there's carbon fiber. I took a couple of shots with carbon fiber. Um, Totally threw me off. Yeah, that's an excellent one, Roll Gator, about what type of tip. Let's do that next week. I, I have a preference. I came across a brand called Kamikaze, and I'll be honest with you, I love the tip itself. So I'll see. I'll get a couple of different tips next week, and we could do a whole chat on the different tips that are out there. And to be honest with you, there's some that are extremely expensive, and they're good, but you could spend half the money and get a tip that's gonna play just as well. So don't always go for the name brand on that. Trust me. I mean, I've experienced it as well. I've tried so many different tips out there. So I tried the Navigator tips by McDermott, Kamikaze, Kamui, Tigers, just really everything that's out there. La Pros, White Diamonds, the Phalonic tips, acrylic. They actually have an acrylic tip out. Um, those are for obviously jump break cues, like that. But again, um, next week, let's do that. What type of tip you use and why you use it as well. I mean, you got this medium, which is the most popular. Then you drop the soft, super soft. For medium, you go up. This hard. and then you get into break cue tips and jump 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 cue tips as well. So usually the one and the same, but again, we'll discuss that next week. That's a great topic. So again, I'm going to write that down, and next week discussion will start it off with what type of tip you guys use and why. So look forward to seeing you. Look forward to hearing from everybody as well. So again, thanks for everybody for joining me, and thanks, Roll Gator. That was excellent, excellent topic to discuss. Like I said, I'm literally picking up two of my shafts tomorrow. I had two different cues, two different Q tips put on there. Again, I'm testing them out, so it's perfect timing. So everybody have a good night. Be safe. Look for my future videos. I roll out a video at least once a week on either product review or an actual lesson, and then also we're going to be doing from now on Monday nights at 8 p.m. the live podcast. So you see at least two videos a week, and if I can bring you more, bring you more. But right now that's the